Right.
Or I'll heap some on you, brother.
Right.
All right, well, I had a problematic week.
Yeah, you did.
What?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. I had quite the week. At some point in the next 20 minutes, at least one of you will go, okay, at my week. I've seen a lot of uvulas this week when people heard my stories of the week. I did. I've seen a lot of strangers' uvulas. I like saying uvula because that sounds so nasty. Why, there's paper on. Who are you people? This place sucks.
You didn't,
Donald Trump, your hotel sucks.
you
All right.
didn't want fingers touching your straw.
I also don't want to like suck up a mouthful of paper and choke in front of it. Thank you very much. Early part of the week, not one but two of my favorite female recording artists, and their names both start with the letter P, died on the same day. Phoebe Snow and Polly Styrene, who was the lead singer of X-Ray Specs. And X-Ray Specs is like one of my all-time favorite bands. And I kind of knew Phoebe Snow. I mean, I guess we knew each other, and she was very sweet. And I was a lifelong Polly Styrene fan, and just recently, on her own, she contacted me about my music, which was crazy amazing, just out of the blue. You know, wow. You know, and they both died on the same day. And normally, I would have written a blog or posted something or done something around it to pay tribute to people that I really loved and admired. But on the very same day, I saw that there was some weird thing in my Yahoo list of news reports, and I clicked on it, and I watched a 4-minute video of a trans woman getting beaten at McDonald's. I was like, well, there you go. You know, when you're posting and emailing, especially as much as I do, you really know that you really only get one chance for people to pay any attention to what you might have to say that day. And I was like, well, Phoebe Snow was really nice to me. Polly Styrene was one of the most influential artists in my life, and she was really nice to me. But both these women, just by virtue of their gender and the timing of their careers, their existence fought for human rights. And I said, so in my heart, I'm going to pay tribute to their existence by aggressively fighting for human rights today. So I copied and pasted the video on all my Facebook pages, and I sent the blast to all my friends and enemies on my email list. And you know, you send something like that, and I did put a warning on it that said this is really violent material, and I said what it was, but you send stuff like that to people, you are purposely shoving it in their face. And I did. That was my intention. That was my honest, heartfelt intention. I said, I think if you are allowed to live and breathe in this country, you should be forced to watch something like this in your life. Not everything, by the way. I went on the assumption that most people had never seen that in real life. So, if someone isn't in the know, a transgender woman, meaning someone who was born male, who is at any place from where they started to being completely post-operative, but living as a woman, used a ladies' room at McDonald's, and 2 teenage girls went in, grabbed her, dragged her out, and beat her repeatedly. They were fought off by the manager of McDonald's, who is twice my size. I'm 6'1" and I weigh 175 pounds. And it's twice my size. So that means he's 12 feet, 2 inches tall and weighs 450 pounds. No, just kidding. 350? Math is hard. Besides, I was going by my real weight. Shh. Actually, I'm going home. And, but he couldn't stop it. Because the minute he walked away, they start up again. And this time they're dragging her by her hair all over the restaurant. And then when they're done dragging her, they kick her some more. And then an old lady steps in, breaks it up, and gets punched in the face. It was brilliant. Very happy day. Very happy day. And of course, a big part of it was filmed on an employee's cell phone. And the person backs up at one point, and you see all the employees lined up, watching. There were a lot of people watching that could have done something. My gosh, when my dogs do that, I try to break it up. And let's be fair, that is dangerous. One of them's a pit bull. I had to break them up the other day. I was scared. He's scared of a water bottle, by the way. I bet if they threw a Coke at one of those teenagers' head, it would have stopped it. Anything. You know, I removed a lot of the posts on Facebook. If you guys read what people wrote, I removed a lot. I wrote people privately and thanked them for their comments, but I did not want it to go to what we could have done to these girls. I think the same way, and I really do. I hope to God that if I were in that environment, I wouldn't have, gracefully handled it. I hope that primal nature would have come over me and I would have jumped into it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you watch it, the helplessness you feel watching this, you really do hope there's enough substance to have gotten physical with it. Or at least call 911, for goodness. But still, someone needed to step in. Someone needed to step in. And let's be fair, sooner or later, we could take a teenager. Might take a few blows, but they would have been warranted. And that would have been caught on film too. I'd like to say something. I am so not concerned about being politically correct. I'm going to make a racial statement now. And anyone who knows me knows exactly how racist I am or I am not. Period. That's all I can say. You know, in the immortal words of Avenue Q, we're all a little racist. But I was in junior high and high school when busing happened. When the schools had to be integrated. And I was present when the inner city black kids were brought over to the white school. And I saw this stuff daily. I saw this stuff all the time. And as someone who had been bullied forever, I can tell you firsthand what it's like to have a group of girls beat you up. They were twice my size, I was a puny little runt, and I was the kid who was being bullied. And my generation of upper middle class white suburbanites never saw people of color unless they worked for us. Or they were going to rob us and kill us. That's how we were raised. So to go to school in fear, to have all this inbred racism in me, to have a lifelong pattern of being a victim of abuse, and to have these scary, aggressive, and to us they were oversized. We used to call people big kids. That's what we called them, the big kids. Those are the ones that matured faster and beat the crap out of everyone else. And I do remember after school one day that I stayed after school for something and I was alone. And I do remember getting circled and jumped. And I remember what it was like to be attacked by girls. And I'm absolutely not ashamed of it, because girls know this. Girls know that if you're in a group, we're defenseless. You guys could totally go after a guy, one guy, and beat him up, especially if they're smaller, because the initial reaction of a guy is what? Well, we're not going to fight back. Well, then it's too late. And I watched that video, and yeah, I'm of the mindset somewhere in there was someone who was born male, or with, oh, I'm going to get a letter for that. Sorry, trannies. Oops, I called you trannies. I don't care. I love you guys. Look at me. Look what I'm doing for you. Bite me if I say the wrong word, because you guys keep changing the terminology on this. But serious, I get emails when I say the wrong thing, and I write back, I say, don't you dare. Don't you dare correct me. Not with that attitude. I said, who else is out there doing this? You know, and by the way, I've been to McDonald's dressed like this, haven't I? I've done it.
Yep.
I've done it. And I said, I need someone to walk with me to the bathroom, because if anyone sees me go into the bathroom, I won't be coming out in one piece. Because I know what it's like. I know what these people are facing. And I know it's not just them. This has nothing to do with the transgender community, even though it happened. As much as it has nothing to do with McDonald's, even though it happened at a McDonald's. This has nothing to do with McDonald's. This has to do with the weaker of the species being pummeled by the angry of the species, period. It's just plain old bullying mentality. It transcends all race, it transcends all sexuality. It just happens over and over again. And the people standing around watching would have watched no matter who it was. Maybe not this group, maybe not that day. But somewhere, someone will stand around and watch this stuff go on and wait and see if someone else does something about it. But I don't think it's wrong, and I got on a tangent, I don't think it's wrong for people to point out the race issue in this, if it's okay to point out that it happened to a trans woman. Because there is an angst and a frustration and a downtroddenness applied to every minority and majority group that is all their own. And you put the wrong groups together and you get what? So if you would change the characters in this story to different people from different backgrounds and different cultures on all sides of the issue, the people, the attackers, the victim, and the watchers, this may have looked completely different. Maybe we would have had more people joining in, kicking this nice young lady. But Phoebe Snow died, polystyrene died. I chose to stick this in people's face. And I thought, isn't that enough for 1 week? This, I don't know about you, but I do take this stuff personally. I do not perceive myself as a trans woman of any kind. But I do see myself as someone who is a public punching bag for opinion, for comment, for jokes, or for well-meaning humor. I think anybody in the arts, I'm going to use you as an example because you're nothing like me, but I still think you would understand what I mean by, sorry. In a good way, shut up. I think the punching bag thing, that for comment and opinion, people can say whatever they want. Just have to take it. Well, on Wednesday, my son bought a Jeep. And Friday, we spent all day in the hospital. Because on Thursday, he was out with his friends, and he let his friend drive his Jeep, and he fell out of it, and his foot got caught under the wheel, and he got flipped over, and he got run over by the Jeep. He got run over from his right hip to his left shoulder by the Jeep. But it's okay because they called me right away and they told me what happened. We got into the hospital immediately. I said the next day we went to the hospital, not that day. Because no, they didn't call me. In fact, It happened at 7 o'clock at night, and he didn't come home till 1 in the morning. Then when he came home at 1 in the morning, he came in and he hugged me and said, I was the best dad in the world, and I'm always right, and everything I tell him is right, even when he says I'm wrong, and I was totally right about the Jeep, and he's going to be really careful in it, and he's going to learn how to do hand signals, and he's going to really learn how to take good care of himself on the road.